Hello everybody and welcome back to Getaway Crochet. Today we are going to be doing the sunflower coaster. Now I want to let you know that this is not my pattern. I did not create this. So a client had actually sent me an image on Pinterest for something that she wanted, and I just basically followed the link. And I cannot remember where on Pinterest I found this or where she sent it from. I don't remember. I apologize, but this pattern was found on Pinterest. It is not my own. Alright, so for today's pattern, we are going to make this, but we're going to need stuff to make that. So we're going to need some yarn, and I am using some brown sugar and cream cotton yarn today. And then I also have some bamboo colored for the petals. You will also need a crochet hook. I am using a 5.5. If you can really see that. There you go. An eye or a 9 or a 5.5. You will also need a yarn needle and a scissor. Alright. So to begin with, we are going to start with a slip knot. Now remember, I make slip knots much different than most people because I am a self-taught crocheter, so, you know, bear with me. I'm making them as I do, but make a slip knot however you know how to make a slip knot. Alright, once we have our slip knot, we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait for my camera to catch up here. Or not. There we go. 5 and 6. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the first chain that we made, creating a ring. Yarn over and pull through. Alright, so there's my ring that I'm going to use. Alright, so once we got our ring, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So we got our chain 3, and now we are going to do 17 double crochets into our ring. Now this does count as a double crochet, but it does not count as one of the 17 double crochets. So we are going to do 17 in addition to that to make a total of 18. Alright. Oopsie. That is not how I do a double crochet. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this string over on this side. Okay, camera, can you work with me today, please? My camera is really not wanting to focus today. Okay. I'm going to hold this string over on this side so I can work over it. Okay. So 17 double crochets. 1. 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9. Just making sure I got 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wait for my camera to catch up again. I did 15, right? 3, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, yep. 16 and 17. Alright, so now we have a total of 18, and that's counting that first chain 3 that we made. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3. To finish the first round. And that is what your first round should look like. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to chain 3 again to create our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to do 1 double crochet in the same stitch that we just went into. So I'm gonna redo that again. So as you can see, we went into the top of the chain 3, so I'm going to work 1 double crochet because the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so I'm going to work another double crochet into that space or that stitch. Alright, then in each stitch around we are going to work 2 double crochets. Assuming I can actually, you know, get my hook into the stitch here. Alright. My camera is really being picky today, so I apologize. Alright. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So again, we're just making 2 double crochets in each stitch around. 1, 2, 1, 2. Gotta get some more yarn here. Make sure I did 2. Yep. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're almost there. As you can see, I have 2 double crochets in each stitch so far, and that 3/4 around here. So I'm going to finish it up doing the same thing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, And as you can see, I have one stitch left, so we are going to work our last two into that stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, so now that we have 2 double crochets in each stitch around, like before, we are going to find the top of the first chain 3, which is right here, and we are going to slip stitch into that, like so. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull up on this loop here. We are going to snip our yarn because this is going to be the end of the brown. So snip our yarn, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this end so that pulls through the string, pulls the tail through, and then I'm going to tie a knot to tie that off. As you can see, I got my little knot there. Alright, and I'm going to worry about weaving in my tail later. So now I'm going to switch colors. So I got my bamboo color here. And I am going to tie a knot around my hook. Now you can use a slip knot if you so choose. I like to tie knots because, again, I'm self-taught, and to me it secures the yarn better, and it's how I taught myself how to do this. So I'm going to tie a knot, or you can use a slip knot, whatever you choose. And I'm not going to use the stitch with the knot in it. I'm actually going to go to the next one here, and I'm going to slip stitch into the space, or into this chain, to secure this color on there. Then I am going to work a chain 3, 2, 3. Now another way you can do that, if you choose, is you can work a standing double crochet, which is just a double crochet into the space without doing this slip knot or the slip stitch into the space like I did. It's however you prefer. This is just how I taught myself years ago, so this is always how I do it. Alright, so we have our petal color now, and we are going to do 1 double crochet into the same space. So we have 2 double crochets in our first space, or in our first chain, or oh my goodness, our first stitch. I will get words right today, I promise. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then in this next stitch, right next to where we just worked 2 double crochets, we are going to do 2 double crochets. And this is what it's going to look like now. So 2 double crochets, chain 5, in the next stitch 2 double crochets. Alright, and we're gonna repeat that. So, but we're gonna, before we start repeating that, we're going to skip 2 chains. So skip 1, 2, and double crochet 2 into the 3rd chain. 1, 2, and this is going to be the repeated pattern. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the next stitch 2 double crochets, just like before. Alright, so just recapping this here, so our pattern's going to be 2 double crochets, chain 5, 2 double crochets, skip 2 stitches, 2 double crochets, chain 5, 2 double crochets. And we're going to skip 2 stitches again, so we're going to skip 1, 2, go into the third here with 2 double crochets. All right, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the next stitch 2 double crochets. 1, 2, oops, I'm not counting, I'm sorry. Just counting my double crochets, sometimes it's easier. Alright, so I got 2, we're going to skip 2 chains again, get some more yarn here out of my ball. Okay, so we'll skip 2 and 2 double crochets into the third stitch here. Chain 5, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Now sometimes you're gonna need to hold the yellow or your secondary color, because it's gonna with this long chain 5, it's gonna want to kind of move around quite a bit, so you have to kind of secure your working area there. Alright, so I have 4 so far. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to skip 2. 2 double crochets into the third stitch. One, 2, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, and we're just going to keep repeating that until we're all the way around. Alright, skip 1, 2, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Skip 2, 1, 2, and 2 double crochets into the third. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Skip 2, double crochet into the third, 2 double crochets into the third, and chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Oops, that was my fault. Didn't yarn over before I went into the stitch. Alright, skip 2, and 2 double crochets into the third. And this is going to be our last cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Alright, so what we have left is 2 stitches, which we are going to skip over, and we are going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 right here. Okay, now I've connected that. Alright, so now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We should have 9 chain 5 spaces for our petals total. And this is what your work should look like right now. Alright, So for our last row, what we're gonna do, make sure I have enough yarn here, is we are going to put we're gonna put 5 double crochets into this chain 5 space here. So I'm just gonna yarn over and make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just bear with me while I'm unraveling my yarn here. Okay, so now I got 5 double crochets into that first chain 5 space. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a peacoat, because we want to create a little tip right here. So we got our 5 double crochets right here, and now we're going to create this tip, which is going to be a peacoat. And to do a peacoat stitch, what we're going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and as soon as my camera catches up, we're going to single crochet into the base of the chain 3. So right here, single crochet into that to create our little peacoat stitch, which should look like that. And now we are going to do another 5 double crochet down the side of the same chain 5 space. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and 5. So we have a total of 5 double crochets, peacoat, 5 double crochets. So that's what we're looking like right there. And then we are going to move this out of the way. I am going to slip stitch into this space right here, like so, to kind of pull everything tight. Then I am going to do another set of 5 double crochets into this next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now to create the tip of the petal, we got to do a peacoat. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and work a single crochet in the base of the chain 3. So right here, I am just going to single crochet. There we go. And I'm going to work another 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I got my second petal done. Now I'm going to slip stitch into this space in between these 2 double crochets here. And we are going to work another petal. So 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do our tip or the peacoat stitch. 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet into the base of the chain 3, and another 5 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we have 3 petals done, and we are just going to continue to do that same thing all the way around for all 9 chain 5 spaces. So again, to get over there, I need to slip stitch into the space between the 2 double crochets here, and then we are going to do 5 double crochets in the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do our tip or in peacoat. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the base of the chain 3, and another 5 in the chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we are going to slip stitch into this space between the double crochets so we can work our next petal. So 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do our peacoat stitch. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the base of our chain 3. And now we are going to do another chain 5. 1, 2, get some more yarn here. 3, 4, and 5. Create another petal. Now we should have 5 petals, so that means we only have 4 left to do. So next we're going to slip stitch into this space and work another 5 double crochets into the next chain 5 space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we need to do our peacoat stitch, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet at the base of our chain 3, and another 5 in the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, 3 to go. So I'm going to slip stitch into this space and 5 double crochets into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Create my peacoat. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet at the base of the chain 3, and another 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, get some more yarn here. Alright, now I'm going to slip stitch into the space here and do another 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm gonna create my peacoat, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet at the bottom of the chain 3, and another 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, and now we're going to be working our last petal here. So I'm going to slip stitch into the space between the double crochets and chain 5 into the next chain 5 space. Chain 5, or not chain 5, 5 double crochets into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Create my peacoat. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet at the base of the chain 3, and do my last 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now that we have all of our petals done, make sure you have 9, so 3, 6, 9. Now to connect them, I am going to slip stitch into this space like I would be if I was connecting or making another petal. Then I'm going to pull up my loop, snip my yarn, and just pull the string through and tie a knot to tie that end off. Now I will show you how I weave in these ends here. Okay, I'm going to start with the center tail here. I'm going to pull this tight. Find my needle, wherever the heck that went. There it is. Then I am going to kind of stick my needle into these stitches that I made here until it's about halfway around. And pull through and pull tight and then tie a knot. Now as you can see, sometimes this does happen. So because this is a used yarn that I was using, it's not brand new, my yarn did split quite a bit, so it did split when I was putting it in there. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna, well, I tied a knot and secured the end so I can trim this one off. I need a sharper scissor apparently. And then I'm actually just gonna trim this off because I don't need that. There we go. Alright. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on these 2 strings. And I am actually going to weave this string through these 4 stitches here. And I'm actually gonna do it like that, so it's not hanging out the end. And to do this, as you can see, the end of my yarn is split. So I'm going to be very careful when I'm putting it through the end here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this knot that I created so it doesn't pull it all the way through. I want the knot to stay on that side. Alright, so now that's through, and now I'm going to tie a knot to secure that in place. There we go. Now I can trim that end off. I always like to tie a knot before I trim my ends up because to me that just secures it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to pull out and get all split. So now we have a couple more left to do. So I'm going to get rid of this brown one first. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to weave this through the back, and I'm going to choose this side here. So I'm just going to find some stitches here and just weave it through a few. Find the end of my yarn, stick it through the needle, hold the knot because I don't want the knot pulling all the way through. And pull that tighter. Now the knot is still, the first knot, or the knot that we used to tie off the end, is still there. I don't want to pull that all the way through because then it's going to look weird. So I am going to make sure that that stays on that side, and then I'm going to tie a knot to secure the end of the string before I trim it off. Alright, we're at our last knot here. Now you will notice this one looks a little bit different. I did pull this really tight and I wasn't supposed to, so my end looks a little bit different. Usually they look just like this, but mine doesn't, but it doesn't really matter. It's a coaster and you can't really tell anyway. So I'm going to weave in, I'm going to put this to the back, and I'm going to weave into these stitches in the back here. Alright, now again I'm going to hold the knot that I tied it off with so it doesn't pull all the way through. I'm going to pull it a little bit in. There we go. So it looks like that. Tie off this end and trim the string. Alright, everyone, we got ourselves a sunflower coaster that you can use for cups. Now, in order for washing instructions, here's what I would recommend. So you can throw this into the washing machine, no problem. To dry it, I would lay it flat to dry. Cotton, as you know, likes to do a little bit of shrinking, but I found with coasters that the ends like to curl. So if you want your coaster to remain flat, I would just take it out of the washing machine, lay it on a flat surface like this to dry, and leave it for, 12 hours, and it'll dry by the next day. And it'll be good as new. You can put it in the dryer, it's probably just going to curl around a little bit. But that, my friends, is the sunflower coaster. I hope you enjoyed making this with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!